Okay, boys and girls. Now I want to talk to you and remind you again about point of view in a story. When we're talking about point of view, we want to think about who is telling our story. Now we can have a first person point of view. In a first person point of view, Libby, the narrator is part of the story. A story told in first person point of view has a character in the story as the narrator. Readers learn from other characters from what they say to the narrator. And you're going to hear words in the story like I, we, me. So the character in the story is the narrator. So that person is speaking and saying things like I, me, my, mine. The narrator is part of the story. It reminds me of the story from last year, The Big Red Lollipop. That story was told in first person point of view. Now many other stories are told from third person, and the narrator is outside the story. So a story told in third person point of view has an outside narrator. The narrator can tell readers what all of the other characters are saying, doing, and thinking. So they have an insight into what all the characters are doing. They know what everybody is doing, and they can be in everybody's head. They know what everybody is thinking. When you have a first-person narrator, they don't know what everybody's doing. They don't know what everybody's thinking because only one person is telling the story. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to open up your book to page 19 and 20 because those are the only pages we are going to be reading today. And we are going to be paying special attention to point of view of the characters. And we are going to be working on this page. We're going to be working on this page together. And I should have passed this out before I started recording. So I'm sorry, e-learners. So I'm going to have to walk around and give this to you. So when the third person is saying a story, or narrating a story, I should say, the third person is using words like he, she, and they. Okay? So, what I want you to do, boys and girls, is I want you to turn to the pages I just told you, which are pages 20 and 21. And we're going to look at pages 20 and 21. Okay? Which are the first pages of our story. Okay? Here we are. We're on pages 20 and 21 of our story. And so, let's read these pages. Everybody? Does everybody have that page open?
Yes.
So we're going to be looking for clues about this. Are we ready? It says here, let's all see. It says, my name is Marisol McDonald, and I don't match. At least, that's what everyone tells me. I play soccer with my cousin Tato, and he says, Marisol, your skin is brown like mine, but your hair is the color of carrots. You don't match. Actually, my hair is the color of fire, I say, and kick the ball over Tato's head and into the goal. So that's what she says. Now, boys and girls, let's look at our page here. Let's see what we have to do. Now, let's remember, in first person point of view, The narrator is part of the story. This narrator uses words such as I, me, and we. First person. In the third person point of view, the narrator is outside of the story. This type of narrator uses words he, she, and they. So, point of view can also refer to how a person or character thinks or feels, because a person can have a point of view on something. I can have a point of view on the weather, or I can have a point of view on politics, or I can have a point of view on a genre of literature, or on art. I can have a point of view on all sorts of things. So people can have points of view on football, or on, I have a very strong point of view on baseball, on my favorite baseball team. And we all know who my favorite baseball team is. It's the White Sox. So we never mention that other team. So I have a very strong point of view on that one. So there you go. I have a strong point of view on that. So here's what we're going to do, boys and girls. We are going to use these 2 pages, and we are going to try and answer these questions. So we need to look. So let's start and look on page 19. And page 19 is going to, or page 20 I should say. 19 and 20 are helping us here. So look at question number 1. Who would like to read question number 1 and help us answer this question? So who wants to help us answer it? I can go over here and we can write it. Except, I seem to have lost all my tools. Okay, so who is the narrator? Who's the narrator of this story? Do you know, Ethan, who's the narrator of our story? Who's telling this story today? Marisol. Marisol, that's right. So that's what we can write. Marisol. So let's write that. Marisol. Everybody write that down. Write Marisol. So let's all write that where it says Marisol. Let's write Marisol. Now, we are going to have to be detectives here.
My name is Marisol McDonald, and I don't match. At least, that's what everyone tells me.
Okay? That is very important, what I just played for you. Because it is going to tell us something important. Which words that you just heard help us identify the narrator? What are the words that are going to help us identify the narrator? Avery?
Because in the first page that you just played for us, my and the word I is in it.
Okay, what whole line? Give me a whole line that tells us.
My name is Marisol McDonald, and I don't match.
Very good. That whole line right here. My name is Marisol McDonald, and I don't match. Everybody write that down for the answer to number 2. That helps us identify the narrator. And it's in your book, so you can copy it right from your book. It's right in your book, right here. The first line of the story. My name is Marisol McDonald, and I don't match. That tells us exactly who the narrator of this story is. There's no guessing. We know. She just told us who she is. Okay, so we can tell this in the very first line of the story, who the person is. My name is Marisol McDonald and I don't match. And there she is in all of her glory. Look how colorful she is. I love how colorful she is. I wonder if anybody's going to come tomorrow looking like Marisol McDonald. I'm hoping.
I'm not gonna wear a skirt on.
Okay, you're not going to wear a skirt?
I'm gonna look worse than what she was.
Excellent.
I'm gonna look.
Okay, so keep writing that. And then we're going to start to think about question number 3. I think it should be easy because we're working so well here, figuring things out. Okay, now, it says, is this story told in first person or third person point of view? So what point of view is this story being told in? Is this first or third person point of view? What is it? What do we think it is? What's our guess? Elisa? First person, you are correct. It is first person. And how do we know that? How do we know it's first person? Teddy?
The two things. Just one second. The words I, and me.
Because she uses those words, right? So let's write down first person. So everybody write down first person. And then we can kind of shorten it up and we can say first person because Marisol is the narrator. That would be I think that would be the best way to say it. We're going to say first person, Marisol is the narrator. I mean, she's our main character. She's our main character and our narrator. So let's write that down. Marisol is our main character and our narrator. Okay? Marisol is the narrator. Now, it is first person and Marisol is the narrator. Now, boys and girls, now I want you to turn your page. And we're going to read this page. We're going to read page 22. Are you ready? And it says here, my brother says, Marisol, those pants don't match that shirt. They clashed. But I love green polka dots and purple stripes. I think they go great together. Don't you? Now, what I want you to look at here is what characters share the same point of view on these two pages that we just read. This would be page 21 and 22. What characters share the same point of view about Marisol? Alice?
Tato and her brother.
Tato and her brother. So Tato and Marisol's brother. So let's write that. And what is that point of view that they share? Mikey, what point of view do Tato and Marisol's brother share? I can't hear you. Do you know Tato and Marisol's brother?
Third person.
They're what?
Third person.
I didn't ask you their point of view. They don't have a point of view. They have a point of view about Marisol, What's their issue with Marisol? I guess they do have a point of view regarding her, but it's not first or third person. The story isn't first person. That's not what I mean. How do they feel about Marisol? I don't think they feel weirded out. I wouldn't say they feel weirded out. I mean, they have a point of view about her, but it's not first or third person. Jensen?
They both have a problem about her mismatching.
Yes, they don't like how she mismatches. So, Tado, so let's write everybody. Tado and Marisol's brother think she is too mismatched. So we could write that. Pardon?
It was Tatum and her brother don't like when she doesn't match.
Yeah, they don't like it when she doesn't match. They do not like that at all. Logan? You gotta wait. Now, do you agree with the boys, with Marisol, or do you have a different view of your own, and why? What do you think about that? Ivy? You think it looks kind of good on her? Why?
Because, like, let's say you said that she wouldn't match, but you're not her, so you can't really boss her around
Right.
of what she wears because it's not you. You can boss yourself around, you can't boss somebody else around.
Right. You can't boss other people around. Yes?
I think she's just keeping herself.
You think she's keeping herself, and that's her look, is what you're thinking. That's her style and her look, and it looks good on her. Yes, Jensen?
Point of view that I would actually wear that.
You would actually wear that. So that's your point of view on her. So I think what can be a little bit confusing is when we're talking about point of view, we mean kind of two different things. We're talking about the story point of view. We're talking about first person and third person. And then we're talking about point of view in terms of our feelings towards something. Okay, very good. So now I want you to write your answer to number 5. That's going to be your answer. When you're done, you can put it in the hand-in tray. Okay, but make sure your mask is covering your nose. Very nice.